Alright, welcome to another episode of Umineko, End of the Golden Witch. You're gonna let me... yet again, we start this episode off with me not unmuting myself because I have to click the button twice instead of just once, turns out. Mystery solved. Anyway, our content warning for this series and this arc: character deaths, detailed descriptions of gore and body horror, child abuse, discussion and mentions of suicide, and misogyny. Technology is in fact cursed. I don't like it. In general. What am I even doing here? I'm kidding. Technology is cursed, but also does some good things occasionally, maybe, when it cooperates. And when I'm not being silly. So last time, we dealt with the fallout, or continue to deal with the fallout of Battler solving the epitaph and potentially becoming the new head of the Ushinomiya family, as well as him dealing with his family's greed, which is quite shocking to him. The game board Battler, the meta Battler, has some experience with that now. And we also dealt with Natsuhi getting another phone call from the man from 19 years ago, who turns out to be... well, no. We don't know that for sure. Turns out that years ago, 19 years ago specifically, Natsuhi was given a child by Kinzo from an orphanage. The same orphanage that Shannon and Kanon grew up in, as well as several of the servants that we never see. And she was basically told, you know, this is your child now, since you can't have a child of your own, apparently. But, you know, you need an heir to take over one day. And 3 days after she was given this literal baby, the baby, along with a servant, fell off a cliff. And the implication so far seems to be that the baby didn't die, but in fact lived and is now harassing Natsuhi with phone calls. So that's interesting. Also, my screen capture is not working. Let me just fix that real quick. That's an interesting one. If your mom tossed you off a cliff, you'd be angry too? Yeah. Honestly, yeah. That's fair. Okay, so that works. But this stuff... oh. Huh. OBS is, cursed. I talked about this during my last stream. I always seem to have problems with these programs that nobody else does. And I think it's witches. It's just witches at this point. But you know, here we welcome witches here. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of cursing every now and then. And I don't mean swear words, but like actual proper curses. Nothing wrong with that. We can have a little bit of chaos as a treat. So yes, malware does not count as a curse. It sounds like it would be, but like it kind of sounds like it could be a fancy like magic item in the game. But I don't think that counts. And also don't fall for the Discord scams. What I was also saying while I was freaking muted, blissfully unaware, I can go for a little longer today because I don't have to be up super early tomorrow. So, yeah. Let's go. Yeah, that is smart. I would like to get some context on this line. Oh, there is no context. Wonderful. Let's go. Was it someone's alarm clock? A repetitive electronic beeping noise filled the room. Battler, who had gone to bed late and hadn't had anywhere near enough sleep yet, covered his head in his blanket, and waited for someone to turn off the alarm. But no matter how much time passed, the beeping didn't stop. I see. The point of an alarm clock isn't just to be loud enough to wake you, but to be annoying enough to keep you from wanting to fall back asleep. Yeah, accurate. Hey, guys, the alarm's going off. Make it stop, please. Why do we always sound so annoyed when first waking up? Well, it does make sense. After all, we're still sleepy and in a bad mood. However, there was absolutely no sign that my annoyed voice had caused anyone to turn over in their sleep, much less crawl out of bed to stop the alarm. Letting out a deep sigh, I flung the covers off me and got up. With the shutters down on the windows, there was almost no light getting in, and the room was as dim as it had been earlier. Though even if the shutters hadn't been down, there's no way that this dull weather would have let in enough sun to make this a pleasant morning. My cousins were still wrapped up in their beds, sound asleep and taking no notice whatsoever of that beeping. Normally, once any one person gets up, the others tend to automatically follow. Annoyed that the law of consecutive summer camp awakenings that I'd come up with had just been broken. Valerie, you're great. We make fun of you here, but you're great. You didn't deserve any of this. I drowsily searched for the source of the sound. I could hear it coming from a wristwatch set on a table. Judging by the style of the watch, it was probably George Aniki's. Taking a random guess, I pushed a small button on the side of it, and the sound stopped. Apparently, it had been set for 7 in the morning. Is it already 7? Sorry, but I really don't feel like I slept at all. Playing cards had been left on the table as though they had stopped mid-game. The game looked like 7s. Oh, look at her sleepy boy. Damn it. I've got a piercing headache. What the hell was all that last night? That mountain of gold and the subsequent argument between our parents? It all feels like a bad dream. So stupid. Breakfast normally starts at 8. Now isn't a bad time to start getting up and getting dressed. The adults probably won't argue in front of us cousins. In that case, I think I'll stay with my cousins all day long. I'm sure they'll be able to keep me away from all that annoying talk about the gold and being the successor and all. In fact, I should have done that in the first place. I slept with my clothes on last night too, so I'm drenched in sweat. Gross. I guess I'll take a shower. I'm sure the others want to too. At this age, it's embarrassing to wake them by shaking their shoulders. If I turn the TV on, everyone will probably wake up. Well, let's at least turn the lights on for now. In this dim light with the quiet sound of the continuing wind and rain, it really doesn't feel like morning's come yet. I flipped the light switch, and then that dimly lit morning ended. Oh shit, it's animated. Cool. Terrifying. George! George! This is just too much. How could anyone get away with something like this? As I clung to Aniki's corpse, knowing that he would never wake up again, Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi cried. Please, let him go now. Do you think George-kun would like the two of you to see him this way? Of course not. Aniki, I know how you feel, but let's have Dr. Nanja handle this. How could you understand? George was killed. George. Dr. Nanja's right. We mustn't keep looking at George like this. This is for his sake. We've got to hold back for now. But Aunt Eva tried even harder to cling to that corpse. Dad and Uncle Hideyoshi dragged her away and had a heated debate with her beside the wall. No, no, George! Dr. Nanjo, help him! If he's lost too much blood, do a blood transfusion. George and I are the same blood type. I beg you. Dr. Nanjo. Eva-san. It pains me to say this. But what George needs right now isn't your blood. Dr. Nanjo shook his head slightly, then nodded across to where I stood. I softly pulled the blanket up and covered George Aniki's body. Yeah, sometimes I get too excited with the clicking and I have to scroll back up. His throat had been split wide open. The wound was probably larger and deeper than his mouth. Did it look like a clean and neat corpse now that his neck was at least covered? Of course not. The large amount of blood that had spilled from the wound stained the bed a horrible dark red. And even covering him with a blanket couldn't hide the blood that had poured out. After all, there were large, dark red stains on the blanket too, so that even once he was covered with it, the gruesomeness of the body was still being thrust in our faces. So I stripped the blankets off of my bed and placed one on top. But I only had 2 blankets. So if I covered just one more body, I wouldn't be able to cover any more. Feeling pity for the ones I couldn't cover, for some reason, in spite of the situation, I muttered, "Don't complain about not getting the same as everyone else," inside my head. Kiria, pull their blankets over them. They'll catch cold. Sure. Kitty-san and I covered up the other bodies with our blankets in the same way as George Aniki's, so that they wouldn't have to suffer the indignity of having their terrible wounds exposed like this anymore. In one bed rested Jessica. Jessica was exactly the same as George Aniki. Though she appeared to be resting quietly in the bed, her throat had been sliced deep and the wound lay open in a brutal way. And Maria was the same. Not only Maria, there was one more victim. Lying on the same bed, sleeping alongside her, was Aunt Rosa. George Aniki, Jessica, Maria, and Aunt Rosa. In this room were 4 people who had been killed. Their throats sliced open. They'd probably been like that since last night. And I came back to the room completely ignorant, snuggled under the covers and fell asleep right next to them. All of them had a horizontal cut across their throats. I had been forced to see all the way into the depths of those gashes in everyone's throat. Those cuts might even have reached as far as halfway into their necks. If you tried to open one up, you'd probably be able to see that the gash reached all the way to the bone. The only wounds were the single gash on each neck. So if you just covered their necks with your hand, you might be able to persuade yourself that they were merely sleeping. But even so, this frighteningly deep wound was incredibly gruesome. There's no such thing as clean or dirty ways of killing. All methods of killing are equally brutal. But even so, this was incredibly brutal. And there was one more thing which adorned these brutal murders to make them even more unsettling. Drawn very large on the wall was something like an eerie magic circle. It was drawn in a bright red paint which looked like blood. making it look as though some disturbing ritual had taken place in this room, with the four of them offered as human sacrifices. However, none of us were paying it any attention. No one has a heart so cold that they could witness the deaths of those close to them, and still worry about some graffiti on the wall. Good morning, everyone. Oh, what a wonderful magic circle. The girl who bragged that she drew more pleasure from the process of exposing the truth than from the truth itself, and who went so far as to call herself an intellectual rapist, appeared in the hall. When she saw the extraordinarily creepy magic circle in this gruesome room, I heard what was unmistakably a sigh of admiration escape her lips. You. Don't come in here. I overheard the details from the corridor. Is it 4 people who have passed away? Allow me to express my sincere condolences. On Erika's face. No, that's not it. It was in her eyes. In Erika's eyes, I could see a shameless smile that was hard to describe. She found this entertaining. She found the outbreak of her crime entertaining. It was like the smile of a kid waiting in the wings at a school play, moments before she was due to come on stage. Sorry, Erika-chan. We're busy at the moment. Sam forgot how to do my voice. Could you wait in your room? There we go. I'm afraid not. It's the detective's right to investigate the scene. We said we don't want you here. You're not one of the family, so have the respect to back off. It is a disappointing, third-rate mystery in which the suspect blocking access to a murder scene turns out to be the culprit. At least, in my humble opinion. Who gives a damn about what you want? Get out! No one needs you here. Erika-chan, I'm real sorry about this, but could you return to your room? We're busy here. George. George. Move out of the way, please. I can't investigate the crime scene. There's a need for that? We'll do it ourselves or leave it to the police. Like hell you have the right to defile their bodies even further. She's scary when she smiles. Detectives authority. The detective has the right to investigate all crime scenes. Move out of the way, Ishiramiya Battler. This is my legitimate right within the game, as granted to the human side. Those words, which seemed to be utterly ridiculous at first, were words of power that had come from a world much higher than theirs. Battler was thrown back by an unseen power and landed on his butt. Struck silent by Erika's quiet intensity and the bizarre, suffocating atmosphere, nobody was able to prevent her from entering the room. Hey Magikarp, thank you for the bits. Also, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Rest assured, my goal is not to profane the dignity of the deceased, and I have no desire to peer into the ghastly gashes in their throats. What I wish to ascertain is something completely different. Namely, who committed these murders? Dr. Nanjo and the rest of you, and particularly Battler-san, the first to discover the bodies. I have a number of questions for you, so I hope you will oblige me. Yeah, I'm doing alright. Thank you for asking. Just, you know. I'm happy it's Wednesday. Are you listening? What gives you the right?
because I am the detective.
Balor couldn't argue against this incomprehensible nonsense. No, he wasn't permitted to argue. It was a restriction placed on pieces. Erika summoned Dr. Nancho and got him to tell her in detail about his preliminary findings. Normally, he wouldn't have spoken of that to an outsider so casually. However, for some reason, the atmosphere about the place had begun to make it feel as though nothing should be hidden from Erika.
Okay, let's enjoy this first twilight of lambdas. 4 corpses? That's 2 corpses short. Well, she doesn't necessarily have to see to it that 6 people are killed, but that's how we've been playing. That girl isn't completely clueless, so she must have killed 2 more people somewhere.
There's a magic circle on the wall representing the first twilight, similar to the ones in Beato's games. Is Vern still talking? Or is she thinking? Okay, that's her thinking. Anyway, just making sure.
That girl talks big, but I wonder just how closely she can imitate Beato.
Also, thank you for the follow, Bara Hunter. Welcome. I don't know if I still have like the cooldown up for talking in chat, which was a thing I enabled with the raids. I might be able to turn that off. Who knows? It's 10 minutes, I think. Yes, hi, hello, Hara. I hope you're doing good.
Your Hebrew sure is crappy, Lambda.
You've got this part slightly wrong. I'm also gonna turn my volume down a little bit because that glass shattering shattered my eardrums a little bit. Okay. Oh my god, I can't remember Mamon's voice.
Oh dear, alright.
What the heck? What's going on? Why is there a magic circle?
I'll bet someone wanted to try imitating Beatrice-sama. Ah, what a crappy magic circle. This isn't some funny imitation. Some human deliberately drew this to make it look like Beatrice-sama's own work. Anyway, let's report to Beatrice-sama about this. Even though we're already up to our eyeballs just protecting Goldsmith's secret? What a pain. These murders have no beauty to them at all. It isn't a locked room or anything, and there's nothing impossible about it. Sloppy murders like this aren't worthy of Beatrice-sama at all.
Fururo Erika. An unexpected woman for an unexpected crime. And there's that unexpected man from 19 years ago. And if you add on the fact that Balor's already solved the epitaph, this game is completely different than normal. What the heck is going on? Let's go.
Yes, One-sama.
It's been a while since we've seen the stakes. I miss them. I didn't miss voicing them, because there's so many of them, but I miss them. In the kitchen, Gohda was preparing a wonderful breakfast at a brisk pace. The main dish would be herb omelette. Even simple foods could become an invigorating feast under Gohda's skillful hands. He was planning to complete all the other preparations for the meal here beforehand, and then cook their individual omelets fresh before their eyes in the dining hall, serving them up one by one. Gohda hummed as he continued his preparations in high spirits. When Shannon, who was helping out, saw Gohda like this, her mood also brightened. She arranged the salad in a neat little pattern and showed it to Gohda.
How's this? I think the tomatoes look a bit cuter this way.
Very nice. You're really getting the hang of this, Shin-san. The two happy people gave each other a high five. Shannon didn't like Gohda when he was sneaky, but she had no problems at all with him when he was cooking happily. She sometimes even thought it would have been nice if his contract hadn't included any jobs besides cooking. If that had been the case, he wouldn't have had to get in a bad mood doing unnecessary jobs. The dining hall is ready. You can carry it in whenever you want. We're almost good to go, so please get the serving cart ready. Without thinking, even Kumasawa caught Gohda's high spirits. Honestly, same. The kitchen had a very nice smell and atmosphere about it, truly refreshing for so early in the morning. Then, Kanon came back in the usual bad mood he always had from the moment he woke up. Kanon and Genji were in charge of getting many things ready for the morning, such as opening the curtains. However, Kanon had been alone today, so it had taken much longer than usual. I'm done. Where's Genji-sama? He still isn't here. That's unusual for him, isn't it? I've never known him to sleep in. I guess even Genji-san sleeps in sometimes. That's rather careless of him, considering that this is the middle of the family conference. Kanon-san, could you wake him up for us? Yes. I wonder what Genji-san's face looks like when he's half asleep. Let me go with you. Even though Gohda had asked her to get the serving cart ready, Kumasawa followed nimbly after Kanon, skillfully skipping work. As Kanon muttered about how Gohda was the one who slept in all the time, he headed for the servants' sleeping quarters. So, you didn't wake him up this morning, Kanon-san? Last night, I fell asleep while still in the servant room, so I didn't return to the servants' quarters. Last night, Kanon had dozed off while in the middle of his late-night shift, falling asleep in the servant room. Shannon had been kind enough to put a blanket on him, but that had just made it so warm that he fell into an even deeper sleep. So he hadn't returned to his bed in the servants' quarters last night. Because of that, he hadn't met Genji even once this morning. He knocked on the door. Genji-sama, it's Kanon. Good morning. Oh my, I wonder if he's still sleeping. Excuse me. When Kanon was about to open the door, he noticed something strange on the upper part of it. It begins. Sorry. I already know what's gonna happen, so I'm excited. What is that? Duct tape? A small strip of duct tape was stuck along the frame of the door, almost as though it was sealing the door shut. Furthermore, there were small slits made with scissors along the center of the duct tape, so that if you opened the door even a slight amount, it would be torn in two. Also, written sloppily across the duct tape with a fine pen was what appeared to be someone's signature? It was written in a very elaborate and decorative manner, and if it was a signature, Kanon had no idea whose name was written. I wonder if it's some kind of prank. I don't know, but there's no point in worrying about it right now. Genji-sama, excuse me. He opened the door, ripping the duct tape. Nothing in particular happened when it was ripped, so the strange piece of duct tape was quickly forgotten. The room was dimly lit. The bunk bed's lower bunk still had a lump under the blanket. Apparently, Genji was still sleeping. Good morning, Genji-sama. This isn't like you. It's morning. Genji-sama. What is this? What is this? There was a large, dark red stain on the blanket. Though this was one of the servants' blankets, even those were always kept clean. There was no way they would have a stain like this. Kanon hesitantly peeled back Genji's blanket, saw what was left of him, and was shocked into silence. What the heck? His throat's been cut right across. It's a sharp cut. You couldn't cut through flesh like that without a blade of considerable length. What's going on? Valor solved the riddle of the epitaph, right? Why are murders happening? Why are murders happening? I don't know. In any event, this isn't good. We should report about this to Beatrice-sama and Natsuhi-sama. Beltha, hurry and report to Lucine. Understood. After dashing out, Kumasawa called Gohda and Shannon over. Then, this new pair let out screams identical to the first two. Hey, Gohda! Don't stop making breakfast! Is now really the time to be saying that? There's no chance they'll be having a quiet and peaceful breakfast on the second day. I have a bad feeling about this. Genji might not be the only one. Let's check the entire mansion. Something else might have happened. Yes, Sone-sama. Natsuhi sprang awake at the sudden sound of the phone. To Natsuhi, the fact that she woken up was surprising in itself. She had thought she was going to spend the whole night unable to sleep out of fear that the mysterious man might come in at any moment. But at some point, she must have fallen asleep. Of course, she still didn't feel rested at all. As she groaned from the dull pain in her head, which hadn't gone away once since last night, she managed to get out of bed. Good morning, Natsuhi-sama. Good morning. It's a horrible morning. Don't worry. No one attempted to enter this room. I see. Thanks for keeping watch all night. Even so, that didn't mean she had been able to sleep peacefully. The continued ringing of the phone made her headache throb even more strongly. I believe it would be wise to answer the phone. Also, I have some bad news to report for my sisters. Let's leave the bad news for later. I'll answer the phone first. Natsuhi shook her head to wake herself and picked up the receiver. Then, she regretted not listening to Lucifer's bad news first, because she wanted the first thing she heard about on this horrible morning to be something better than this. Morning, Mother. Sleep well? That voice told her that this horrible morning, this nightmare, was still not over. I kept my promise. I've been holed up in this room the whole time. Of course, I haven't been on the phone either. But you did pick up this phone call, didn't you? Well, just kidding. This is just a wake-up call I'm giving my beloved mother. Morning, Mother. How far do you intend to mock me? Natsuhi gripped the receiver so hard it creaked. I wanted you to leave your seat so that I could set up for the party. Thanks to you behaving yourself, everything is ready now. Of course, you're the main guest, Mother. What are you planning to do? That's for you to look forward to. Don't worry, I won't keep you waiting. It's already begun.
Oh, that's right. Wait a sec. There's someone I want you to hear.
Huh? There was the sound of the receiver being jolted around. The phone was apparently being passed to someone else, but there was a clunking, clattering noise, as though it was taking a lot of effort to hand the receiver over. Who in the world was he giving the phone to? From what Natsuhi knew of this man, no matter who he was giving the phone to, it couldn't be good news for her. Untie me, you coward!
Huh? Dear? Is that you?
Untie me! Untie me! It was, without a doubt, the voice of her husband. However, he didn't respond to Natsuhi's voice. Perhaps he was bound somewhere in the darkness. Kraus, not realizing that Natsuhi was on the other end of the phone, repeatedly demanded that he be untied.
Your husband is here. His eyes and ears are covered, so he can't talk. But I think you can tell that he's in perfect health. What are you after? Let my husband go. I'll let him go tomorrow.
If you'll keep 2 promises, that is.
What are they? One is that you keep it a secret that I'm taking care of your husband. Sooner or later, the others in the mansion will probably raise a fuss that they're unable to find Kraus. But you know nothing,
so you will say nothing. Understand?
I understand. What's your other condition? It's just a little game. At 1 in the afternoon, you will go into the foremost guest room on the 1st floor of the mansion and hide in the closet. A guest room? Why should I go into a closet? It's just a little game of hide and seek. If you can hide there for an hour without anyone finding you, you win. If someone does find you, you lose. And if I lose, what happens? Nothing in particular. Isn't that what playing is all about? If you play along with this hide and seek, I'll release your husband tomorrow. You're going to keep that promise, I hope. Of course. Make sure you do too, Mother. If you break our promise, I'll know right away. Just then, there was a sudden, loud knock on the door to Natsuhi's room. Her heart leapt automatically. Madam, are you there? Good morning.
It's Gohda and Kanon.
Madam, please wake up.
The voices coming through the door were Kanon's and Gohda's. The knock had been wild, and the voices a little shrill. It seemed that something strange had happened, and that they were agitated.
What is it? Did something happen? It's nothing. It looks like the servants have arrived. I'm hanging up. Sure. I've said everything I wanted to.
So, don't break our promise.
I understand. And you don't break our promise either. You've got it wrong. That's for you to decide. Don't make me break my promise. Mother. I'll be watching you all day today, Mother.
Clack. I almost forgot that Lambda is a voice actress. Lambda Delta slammed the receiver down on the antique phone. Then the phone exploded into bits and changed into a spray of gold, which became a group of gold butterflies and disappeared.
Dance for me, Natsuhi. Dance in fear of your sin 19 years ago. My turn's going pretty well. Okay, your turn now, Vern.
Master voice changer indeed. She is actively making my life harder, but that's okay. I love her anyway.
I'm sure this is a waste of time, but confirm for me whether communication with the outside world is possible through calling the police. The external line's unusable. The internal line seems like it can't be used though. Boats can't be used either because of the typhoon. Because of the
typhoon. Yeah.
I guess that completes the closed circle, huh? Congrats, you're now a full detective, Vern.
Police intervention sometimes robs the detective of some of her authority. However, with the construction of the closed circle, the existence of police had been denied forever. From now on, the authority of the detective piece, pronunciation is hard. The authority of the detective piece would be completely guaranteed.
Yes. Thank you for your generosity. Then I guess it's time to get this game started.
Erika, you're the main character. Now, begin. Even Genji-san? 5 people have been killed.
Yes. It was so horrible.
It was exactly the same as the 4 in the guest house. His throat was sliced open with a terribly sharp blade.
I can't believe that even though I had the midnight shift, I didn't notice anyone suspicious.
Don't blame yourself. If you'd bumped into the killer, you might be the one dead right now. On top of that, the phones aren't even connected. I doubt any boats will come in this weather. We're really up the creek now.
And that means it's very likely that the killer is still nearby.
Then what? Does that mean we're trapped here with a murderer until the typhoon passes and the boat comes? It'll be alright. If we all stay together like this, even the killer won't be able to lay a finger on us.
Even Jessica. I can't believe it.
We won't let ourselves be killed like the others. I will have vengeance for George. I will never let them get away with this. Never. No matter who did it or what their reason was, I swear I'll get revenge on whoever killed George. I'll kill them. I'll murder them.
Alright, has everyone gotten the weeping out of their system? Let's have some order, please. Has anyone seen Krausan yet? We've been calling him for a while, but he isn't answering.
Could the receiver be off the hook?
No, we could hear it ringing. He would certainly have heard it.
Yeah, Erika's not a nice person. What does it mean? You don't think Uncle Kraus too? I thought this would happen. I hate to say it at a time like this, but there are 4 in the guest house, plus Genji to make 5. I figured there would be one more. Why? How could you know that? Are you the killer? Did you kill George? Stop it, Eva-san. Now is not the time. Eva got agitated and grabbed at Kiryu. Nanjo stepped in between them, and it grew into a bit of a scuffle. Watching this, Erika smiled condescendingly and shrugged.
But of course, anyone could have predicted 6 victims from the moment they witnessed the crime scene of the guest house. In fact, I've been wondering who the other 2 would be ever since I saw there were only 4 corpses.
How could you know such a thing? You killed them? You killed George? Quit it, Ava. Erika-chan, Kiryu-san, how can you know that? Can't you think before you talk?
It's a simple connection to make. The graffiti drawn at the scene of the crime in the guest house was a magic circle. I just thought of things that are connected to both magic and murders.
I see. The epitaph.
I see. It's the first twilight.
Huh? Huh? What's going on? Well, I don't have a clue either.
Is that how it is? That damn witch. So, is this really Beatrice-sama's doing?
Why do you all keep talking as if you know something? I don't have a clue. Someone explain. Ava, please, calm down a bit.
That's all there is to it. From the moment I saw the magic circle at that crime scene, I had a hypothesis that this was a murder following the epitaph's first twilight, and that there would be 6 victims. All it takes is the presence of that magic circle, and a deduction like this becomes trivial for Furuto Erika. Your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen?
Then, you're saying Uncle Kraus was killed as well?
We can't be sure of that. Krausan isn't the only one not present here. There's one more. Ah.
For just an instant, Natsuhi's brow furrowed. As she feared, she wouldn't be able to avoid the topic of the study. You don't mean Dad? Hey, someone must have contacted the study, right? Of course, I placed a call and even knocked on the door. But, there was no response. The head is completely immersed in his own research. He sometimes leaves the receiver off the hook so that calls will not disturb him, and even ignores knocking at the door. But the line wasn't busy when I... In any case, our first priority must be to ensure that my husband is alive and well. Let's go to his bedroom at once. Natsuhi stood up in a flurry and dashed out into the corridor. Rudolph and the others immediately chased after her, telling her to wait.
Come on now. Everyone, you'd better follow her. In both third-rate mystery and splatter films, the people who act alone tend to die first.
So of course that must also hold for this game. Wow. Wow. Damn, Erika. Wow.
Beato truly is third rate.
Wow. I'm so mad at you, I'm gonna drink some water. She really is not pulling punches. Oh, but in third-rate disaster and action movies, it's the ones who act alone who survive, isn't it? Weird. Yeah, she really does want them to suffer.
Even though the epitaph has already been solved, who's behind this farce?
It might be the work of this man from 19 years ago, who's thought to be Lady Lambda Delta's piece. Nah, yes, that can't be true.
Beato already stated in red in previous games that with Kinzo's disappearance, no more than 17 people exist and no 18th person exists. And now that Erika has been added, It's been stated that no 19th person exists. There's no room for this man from 19 years ago to appear on the island.
Then the identity of the man from 19 years ago is either one of the existing humans, or else.
Even if a 19th person isn't permitted by the red, slipping in a 19th person there is no trouble for me, no trouble for witches. Now it's getting interesting. Why don't we watch how things unfold for a little longer? Still, that Lady Lambda Delta and Lady Baron Castle. They finally started doing whatever they like with my game board.
Didn't you know what would happen when you invited them?
As a witch, I have the same dislike for boredom as they do. Even the unexpected brings the kind of joy a witch expects. So be it. Bring it on. It's great that you're so eager, but things have taken a nasty turn. You know that, right?
I concur. I would hesitate to call this a good time to wait and see what happens next.
I know that. At this rate, Kinzo's existence will become a problem once again, and the barrier around the study won't last long. That's not all. Things are going to get even worse. Imagine this. Move 1, move 2, move 3. Cornered. Natsuhi. Gap whispered something into Beato's ear. Beato's mouth slowly widened into a crooked smile.
That Erika's brought everyone together is actually convenient for us. All darkness outside the range of observers belongs to us demons.
This may be the only time to make that move. Natsuhi is the king. She can't move far, but we cannot allow her to be taken. Let's make the first move. If we slip up here, Natsuhi will be cornered. Gap, can I count on you? Of course. I'll blow a hole through locked room tricks, alibis, and mysteries alike. Leave it to me. I'll deal with it.
Oh, there she goes.
A pitch black hole opened up in the floor and swallowed up Gap along with the chair she sat in.
Damn. That's my girl.
Then, a hole opened up in the ceiling and spat just the chair back out, dropping it back into its original spot. I would applaud, but my avatar has no hands.
Things are becoming troublesome.
I see. So, against Lady Lambda Delta, even I am nothing more than a mere piece. They say that in the opening, you should worry more about development than the capture of pieces. I'm just no match for that lady. I won't let her do that. Natsuhi's the final master I will serve. Know that this is a piece you'll never be allowed to take as long as she has a contract with me. Krause's room was empty. The bed was also empty. But massive bloodstains, similar to the crime scenes where the other 5 were murdered, remained there. But there was no corpse. Nope. Then he isn't dead. Maybe not. What's going on? Where's Nisan?
Judging by this bloodstained bed, I don't like to think about it, but we should probably assume that he was killed and had his neck cut open, just like the people in the guest house. Probably. Judging by the amount of blood lost, it's hard to imagine that he's alright.
But where did Krause-sama go? Large amounts of blood stained the bed, but there were no similar marks on the floor of the room. Whether Krause had run to safety somewhere after being seriously wounded, or whether he'd been killed and carried somewhere, they had no clue where this somewhere was.
Natsuhi knew. Though Kraus had been sounding far from his best over the phone, he at least hadn't sounded like he was on the brink of death. In other words, these bloodstains had to be a ruse. That might not even be blood. Just, what is that man thinking? What is all this for? What the heck? On the first twilight, sacrifice the 6. Is that what this is? Was Kraus-Nissan not in the habit of locking his door? We just came in without unlocking it. He did have a habit of locking up. On Madam's orders, all private spaces in this house are kept locked. How many keys can unlock Uncle Kraus's room?
In addition to the 1 key Kraus-sama held, there are the master keys. Oh, don't bother with the lock and key nonsense. It's completely pointless. Have you forgotten that Genji-san is already turned up dead? His master key is missing, which means that all of the locks in this mansion are now meaningless. How dull. In short, there are no locked room murders inside this mansion, and there never will be. Good grief. What a bore of a mystery this is becoming. Erika laughed off this murder in disappointment, as though it was something she was watching on TV. I can't understand her. Why is her world so different from ours? It's almost like she's a being from another dimension. Was Jessica also like this in a bed?
Yes, that's right. Just like George, her throat was cut.
Jessica. Let me see Jessica.
I haven't even seen her face yet. Jessica. Wait up, Natsuhi-san. The culprit might still be hiding nearby. It would be dangerous to let her be alone. Natsuhi flew out of the room and dashed toward the guest house this time. It was only natural. After all, she still hadn't even seen Jessica's last face. Everyone probably thought that was the reason. Of course, that was at least half of what was on Natsuhi's mind. The other half was a desire to shift their attention away from the study. Strange crimes had occurred, the gold had been discovered, and some relatives had even recommended Balor to be the next head. Even in these twisted circumstances, she had to protect Kinzo's secret. My head. If it should split from this pain, let it burst this very moment. Burst open like a balsam flower. Then I wanted to suffer any longer. Also, my timer for the content warning is not working, so I'm just going to repeat it real quick. Just in case.
So, everyone, for Natsuhi-san's sake, let's return to the guest house for the time being. Not that seeing her daughter's face is going to advance the story in any way.
Do you even have a heart?
A heart? What's that?
That face. Seeing her daughter's dead face wouldn't bring Jessica back to life, nor would it heal Natsuhi's anguish. On the contrary, she would probably wail, wasting a considerable amount of time before being able to think properly again. That probably sums up Erika's screwed-up argument. Seeing her dead face won't advance the story.
Oh, but that's where you're wrong. Peito's pieces have brought about an interesting change.
There's so many characters still alive. And they were all in the same damn room together earlier. This game is testing me. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying, like, whoa. It's tough. And yeah, she's mean. No, it's testing my, like, ability to remember what I make everyone sound like, and to also consistently make them sound like that. Ditch all your ethics. Ethics? What's that? Oh boy, I need a little quick break, cause oh boy. Yeah, just oh boy. Channel your inner Erika. I should. But that would be... I mean... That's not advisable, let's be real. Cause, she's not great. I'm not gonna go super into, like, what she's like as a character in case of spoilers, you know. But the clips we've had of her so far is not a good person. Not a good person. No ethics, for sure. And I would prefer to not be a horrible person. That's just me. You know, I try. I try to not be the worst. You prefer Erika to Natsuhi? Well, you know, fair. She does have a lot of personality. I have such a soft spot for Natsuhi, because... mostly because of stuff that's still coming up, actually, so I'm not going to say much more about that, but... I just feel real bad for her overall, in general. Like, she tries really hard, and she just gets dunked on constantly. But she really does try very hard. And I respect that, you know? I respect that. You wish she wasn't so tightly wound up. Yeah. Yeah, she is that, but... I mean, yeah, no, yeah. She would be better off if she loosened up a little. Because, like, she can't loosen up, but that causes situations that make her loosen up even less, that make her more wound up, which then causes more like, it's a vicious cycle. But man, like, she has no support from anyone, and I just feel bad for her. Erika could stand to be more serious, but that's just who she'd be, I guess. Yeah, no, she's just kind of like... She's just weird. Mostly. And, mean. No ethics. Oh, I almost said a spoiler. Okay. Alright, break over. What the... Natsuhi flew into the cousin's room on the upper floor of the guest house, and was struck dumb by the blood-stained beds and the eerie magic circle which looked like it might have been drawn with the victim's blood. Where is Jessica? Where's Jessica? Jessica! In that bed. Bed? Where? Huh? George? Where is he? Wait a second. What the hell is going on here?
This room was locked tight when we left. We can now be certain that the culprit has a master key. Once again, my reasoning was correct.
Who cares about that? Where did they go? Where did all their bodies go?
Nice trick. See? Look, it's magic. That gap was with Beato hit the corpses somewhere with magic. All of us moved together. You're trying to say that this gives everyone an alibi? Your reasoning goes like this, right? The 4 of them weren't actually dead, they were just playing dead. Then, when no one else was around, they hid somewhere. Am I right? You don't intend to declare any of their deaths in red now, do you? Of course I won't. Unlike that dolt Beato, I don't give red out for free. In that case, I'll gladly use the blue truth. I can think of any number of ways to work around something of this level. Sure, go ahead. Blue truth time.
Welcome back, Cat. I'll just do just a real quick thing.
Here's the first one that I can think of. The victims aren't actually dead. They pretended to be dead, then secretly hid themselves somewhere.
No, actually, because the dodgy stuff on Switch has been less bad, they've taken some action, and like the collective sort of movement against hate raids, etc. Has been paying off. Because basically, there haven't been that many recently, at least the complete... I mean, I'm sure that they still happen. I haven't heard of any in a while. So I can lighten up the rules a little bit. It's a little safer now. So that's good. Yeah. It's about dang time too, but yeah. Alright, I'm gonna start the sentence over.
Here's the first one that I can think of. The victims aren't actually dead. They pretended to be dead, then secretly hid themselves somewhere. After all, you haven't declared anyone's death with the red truth.
No, don't worry, it's fine.
Even if I showed you their gaping wounds, you've still got to try that one if it wasn't in red, right? That's like the basics of the basics. But don't get your hopes up. I'm not giving you a freebie red truth. Cause all I need to do is refute one teensy little part of that theory at the end of the game, at midnight on October 5th. The witch side has such a big advantage. If that stupid battler was my opponent, he'd be done after that blue truth. But you aren't like that, right, Bern? Of course. Anyone could have thought of that ridiculous move. I have more. Second one. Kraus carried the bodies off and hid them. You're making it look like you've kidnapped Kraus and locked him up somewhere, but he might actually be free. Kraus has no alibi. Kraus hid their corpses. Right, of course you'd say that. It's not like I declared with the red truth that Kraus was being confined. They do say you've got to trick your friends before you can trick your enemies. So you're saying he lied to Natsuhi, making it seem like he'd been captured. Any others? Third one. The corpses were different people in the first place. They were substitute corpses made to look like the victims. George and the others were hiding from the beginning, and later cleared away the substitute corpses. The corpses were dead from the very beginning, so they don't count towards the number of people on the island. What is that? That's hilarious. So all those people gathered around and looked at their dead faces and not a single one of them realized that they were fakes? Since you haven't used the red truth, there's a possibility that everyone misidentified all of the bodies. Of course, If you feel like responding to a repetition request for no one would misidentify a person, I'll withdraw that claim immediately.
How about no? You can't bait me like that. The red truth is only useful if I make you wait for it, you know? I'll pick a single blue truth from all the ones you give me throughout this game and I'll smash it with the red. Then the rest of the blue truths will be swallowed up by darkness before you can even find out whether they were right or wrong. That darkness is the world of witches. You won't be given any truth at all.
This girl acts like she's stupid, but she's not bad at all. She'll never rise to provocation. Looks like she understands the thing called the darkness of witches even better than the true game master, Beato. And apparently, Gap has a good understanding of it as well. That move of hiding the corpses. It worked out pretty well for both Lambda and Beato. In any event, I've thought up a full 3 theories about the disappearing corpses. 3 blue wedges for a single riddle. That doesn't mean she could just refute one of those 3. Unless she pulls out all 3 wedges, this riddle has been defeated. That's the ironclad rule of witch hunting. A single wedge isn't nearly enough. Only vampires die from a single stake. Compared to witches, vampires are weak. True witches won't die unless you stab them all over with stakes, you know. Think about assassins. They do the same, don't they? Assassins only kill their targets with a single perfect shot in Japanese manga. Real assassins will empty out an entire clip of bullets. That's what you do too, isn't it? So would I, of course. But my blue truths were nothing special, so knowing her, she'll probably slice all of them in 2 with a single swipe of the red. A confirmation of their deaths and Krause's innocence. By simply firing off those couple of reds, she could remove all 3 of my wedges. Well, that's okay. When the red truth does come out, I just need to follow along with it and stab her full of blue wedges again. This is how a witch's game is played. It's so much fun. Especially since Balor's sluggish fighting has been driving me mad for so long. Yes, I understand, Linda. This was merely the very start of the beginning of the first Twilight. It was just a skirmish, right? Wouldn't have it any other way. Because when I crush you ragged, make you cry out in frustration as you crawl and scratch at the floor, grab that cute hair of yours and drag you along the ground as I roll around laughing, this way will make it all the more enjoyable. Damn, bird. She's looking for, yeah, she's having a good day, I guess. Good for her. That took me a very long time to say. I did it initially as a goof, and then I actually started like stuttering, tripping on my words. Alright. I drank some more water. You know what, I'm gonna just... Listen, I have the points. I may as well redeem the dang things. Yeah, if Lambda didn't react to the whole burn, I would be so pissed. But I don't know if... You 12k? Damn, cat. That's so many. Nice going. But I don't think it's in Lambda's character to not react to anything Burn does. She is mildly obsessed. A little bit. Just a little bit. What
You're gonna activate Symphony mode. There is no timer for that, by the way, so, you know, I might turn it off quickly-ish. But, you know, everyone needs their goals. So fair enough. Alright. The servants' quarters in the mansion had once again gone silent. There lay Genji's body, which had been covered completely with a blanket. In the ceiling of this cramped room, a pitch-black hole appeared. Captivating legs sprouted out, and Gap floated downwards. You're a simple-minded cat. Fair enough. Sorry, Genji. You probably want to enjoy your eternal sleep there, but that's not going to work. Disappear from this place so that even after death, you can continue to serve Natsuhi, the final head of the Ushinomiya family. Gap stripped off the blanket as she said this to Genji, who was sleeping peacefully. Then she stared at the deep wound in his neck. That's a nice cut. Must have been made with a single slice. Has someone capable of this manifested now? This isn't so great. I can't think of anyone who isn't bad news. It goes without saying, but witches are capable of summoning beings with a strength proportional to their own rank. The great Lady Lambda Delta called that being here as a trump card 19th person. Even optimistically speaking, this is on par with the Ronove and me. A pitch-black hole opened in the bed, and Genji disappeared as though the bed had swallowed him up. Just like the four in the guest house, Genji's corpse was hidden in some unknown place. It was a place that no one could find, located neither within this world nor the next. No longer would anyone be able to find their bodies. No longer would anyone be able to confirm their deaths. Genji's body was carried to that place of endless silence, where it would never be disturbed. Without a corpse, he'll be treated as missing. To be treated as missing is to be treated as both culprit and victim, truly like the inside of a cat box. The darkness within cat boxes that will never be opened is the haunt of witches and demons like us. You're one move too late, Miss Grey Detective. Gap licked her lips and swallowed. I wonder why Gap-sama is going around hiding corpses. No idea. But Gap-sama's pretty cool. She's just so awesome. That's true. Stop talking nonsense. What happened to standing guard? The humans are returning from the guest house. Gap-sama. Yes, let's disperse. This should be enough to give Natsuhi a way out. Gap jumped into a pitch-black hole which had opened near her feet. Mammon shouted, "I'm going in too!" and jumped in, followed by Asmo, who said, me too, and hopped in, giggling. As Satan hesitated over what to do, the hole closed. And you call yourself members of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory? How childish. So stupid. Satan went bright red and got angry all by herself, then turned into gold butterflies and disappeared. It seems that Gap has succeeded in moving the 5 corpses. Well done. However, the next part will be the tricky one. They will probably be somewhat surprised at the disappearance of Genji's corpse, but their interest will most likely swing back to Kinzo's study after that. There are 2 keys to the study.
It's fortunate that Natsuhi's in possession of both. If she had left one with Genji, it would probably have fallen into Lady Lambda Delta's hands by now. It seems that Lady Lambda Delta has no intention of hiding Kinzo's death. Apparently, she plans to fight while ignoring the moat, towers and ramparts that you have created. This has become a strange triangular confrontation. We are all each other's enemies, but we sometimes join forces unintentionally. It is a three-way fight, yet the next moment it's 2 against 1, and then suddenly 1 against 2. I know what this is like. The Chinese Battle Royale. Battle Royale? Battle Royale. Don't you think it's like that Records of the Three Kingdoms thing? Oh, the Long John plan. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce that. That's quite a sophisticated analogy to hear it coming from you. There were 3 empires in Records of the Three Kingdoms, weren't there? Wei, Wu, and Shu, right? That sounds just like us. So, which empire won out in the end? The power that gained control in the end was the Jin dynasty. The 3 empires you mentioned were all destroyed. Huh. I didn't know that. I thought one of the 3 empires won. Did the Wei not have an overwhelming advantage? They had the position of emperor stolen from them, and their empire was subjugated and destroyed. Right, I remember this one from video games. The Sima clan, a noble family that Cao Cao invited in as advisors, right? That's how they say it in Dynasty Warriors. I'm very sorry. Eventually gained central control in a power struggle and took over the country. Yeah, and then in the old version they pronounced it Cao Cao, and that was wrong. Right? Yeah. I know stuff sometimes. So, they were invited in as advisors, and they seized control. Very interesting. That Lady Lambda Delta. My god, there's a lot of laughter in this episode. Excuse me. The humans have confirmed the disappearance of Genji's corpse in the servants' quarters. They have started moving towards Lord Goldsmith's study. Richie, they're coming. Let them come. The humans, and the witches of certainty and miracles. If this is a 3-way fight, then the 3 sides are the humans, the witches, and what are we? If the object of our protection is Kinzo's illusion, we must be the illusions, then. Father, it's Natsuhi. Good morning. There's no way he'll wake up if you do it like that. Father, it's Eva. Please wake up. It's an emergency. Eva pushed Natsuhi aside and knocked repeatedly with all her strength. Quiet down. Don't make such a racket. Do you really think now is the time to be saying something like that? So, he isn't picking up the phone, and he isn't responding to knocking either. What a quandary.
He might be in a foul mood again. Kinzo-san sometimes detects omens in the slightest of changes, and gets into a bad mood for reasons only apparent to him. Yes, that's true. This isn't something that started today. Does grandfather really shut himself away and then study that hard?
Yes. It's not uncommon for him to stay in his study for over a month at a time.
Privately speaking, even though I work here, I sometimes forget that the master even lives here.
Gohda, that is not the sort of statement I expect to hear from a servant.
My apologies, madam. I'm truly sorry. Anyway, isn't it bad if we can't get in touch with him? I mean, father might not even know there's crimes going on, right? There's crimes going on. I don't know what that cracked me up, but that's very funny to me.
I'm not sure. Keenly noticing that people were starting to doubt Kinzo's existence, Kanon mumbled his words. Who was the last person to see father? And when? It was me. Last night, up until moments before all the fuss of Balakun finding gold, I was reporting the day's events to him in the study. So, around 11 o'clock last night.
No way around it. Let's open it up.
What did you say? This is the family head's precious study and research room. No one is permitted to intrude without his permission. No one. Who here holds the highest rank?
Me, remember?
I'm the third in rank of the Ushinomiya family. And if someone must be scolded by father for opening this door, that will be my responsibility as the highest ranked as well. And as this is an emergency, I'm opening this door. You have a key, right? Open it. I believe you know this, but the study door cannot be opened with the master keys. The master recently took away Genji-sama's key as well. He has both keys on his person now. So,
both of the keys that can open this door are inside the study.
A locked room. Good. Things are finally starting to get a little interesting. If, inside that room, Kinzo-san is lying on the bed with his throat cut, that would be pretty neat. That is incredibly inappropriate, Erika-san. Anyway, as you know, this door can only be opened by the keys that father has. That means it's impossible for anyone, even a murderer, to so much as touch father from outside the room. So I am certain that the head is perfectly fine. That doesn't make it okay not to make sure he's safe, does it? Is it really that important to you not to confirm the safety of the father you respect so much? That isn't what I...
She's treating them like yeah, Erika is treating them like NPCs totally. She's the main character. In her view. The atmosphere, which had been so agitated a second ago, suddenly went cold, and an eerie feeling filled the room as everyone stared at Natsuhi. They could understand why Natsuhi would protect the study under normal circumstances. It was understood that she probably didn't want to disturb the research of Kinzo, whom she respected, and she was therefore trying to keep the unpleasant relatives away. However, this was an emergency. People had been murdered. Natsuhi's persistence in keeping things quiet for Kinzo, even in a situation like this, was hard to understand from a rational perspective.
The evidence suggests that the crimes occurring on this island are most likely a series of murders following the epitaph. It's probably reasonable to assume that the crimes will continue.
If we reinterpret the epitaph as outlining the series of murders, that means the crimes will continue further, resulting in a total of 13 lives being taken. Do you have any concept of how many victims that would be?
Wait a sec. How many people do you think there are on this island? That'd be almost everyone.
No. You have it all wrong. To my knowledge, the serial murder resulting in the most deaths in mystery novel history was 10 people in a well-known work from England, in which everyone including the culprit died. As far as Japanese mysteries goes, it's probably that famous novel in which an astrologer served as the detective.
That's a new one to me.
Though there were less than 10 deaths in that one. Do you realize? If this continues, and 13 people die, it will lead to the most prestigious and gruesomely spectacular accomplishment in the annals of mystery writing. The completion of a 13-person serial murder case. And if everyone on this island is killed, why, that could give it an even greater number of deaths than the world record for serial murder mysteries, and Japan's record added together, making it a historical achievement in the world of serial murder mysteries. Well, did you know that, ladies and gentlemen?
I mean, they already succeeded in that one.
The culprit of this crime is undertaking an incredible challenge, one that stands to rewrite the record books of mysteries throughout the world and throughout history. But I'm sure all of you are well aware of that, weren't you? Any mystery lover worth her salt will have read the works of the Queen of Crime. And it goes without saying that any Japanese reader has covered the works of the Shin-honkaku genre of mysteries. Are you sure you've been reading enough, everyone?
Just dumping some mystery lore on us real quick. That's no good.
Oh?
Looks like you haven't read enough yourself.
Did I say something wrong?
Erika, who had been chatting away happily all by herself up until a second ago, changed her expression into a displeased glare in an instant. About Japanese mysteries. Prior to Shin-honkaku, a writer of the Shin-gesaku school wrote a different work that also qualifies. Damn, Balor.
The number of people was the same in both.
They tie for the record, but if you pay attention to the fact that the Shin-gesaku novel asked its readers to search for the culprit, it's a far more fitting example. If you know so much about this, should your examples have been based on more than simply the number of victims, like perhaps the approaches of each work? Erika glared at Battler with an expression that couldn't be fully described with the word shock. And her arms shook as she stood there, lost for words. Was she crying? Damn.
Oh my god, she's so lame. This is priceless. Well, I mean, who can blame her, right? Shin-honkaku is much more famous where mysteries are concerned. It's easy to overlook that there are murder mysteries among the Shin-gesaku novels.
Lambda kept on hitting the table with both hands, overcome with laughter. Even Burncastle, who had been enduring the humiliation, suddenly snorted and started pounding the table and laughing in the same way.
This is just too good. Not bad, Battler's piece.
Well, at least someone's having fun.
I'm impressed. Valor-san, you must be quite the reader.
Of books? Nah, I'm no reader. Not at all.
You liar. You're clearly quite well read.
I'd never be so arrogant as to say I read. I don't even get through 100 books a year. Someone like me should think twice before calling themselves a reader.
You miserable piece.
Anyway, we can't let this turn into a massive crime scene like that. That's right. At any rate, checking Dad's safety is our first priority right now. What should we do? He's ignoring the phone and are knocking. The keys are inside. There's nothing we can do. Are we supposed to knock this thick door down? That won't be easy.
Father might have been attacked by someone and severely injured, and maybe he's waiting for someone to help him.
These are extraordinary circumstances. Even Father will understand. And if he has any rebuke, I'd be happy to take responsibility myself.
But breaking down the door would be altogether too rude.
What about the windows?
That's right. The windows. Is there a ladder somewhere which can reach up to the third floor windows? We should be able to get inside by smashing the glass.
Erika finally gathered herself together and her tone regained its decisive edge. The third-story window? That would be dangerous. We won't know unless we try. Is there a ladder around here that could reach up to the third floor?
I don't think the ladder in the gardening shed is long enough.
Oh, then what about the ladder in the boiler room? I remember using it some time ago when a bird made its nest on top of the rain gutter. Yes, that would do the trick, without a doubt. He must have been extremely happy about thinking of something Kanon hadn't. Looking pleased with himself as though he had won something, he glanced around at everyone. He was probably hoping that Natsuhi would praise him, but she quickly avoided his gaze. Of course, Kanon had known about that ladder too. However, in order to protect Kinzo's secret, he had intentionally pretended to have forgotten.
But with this weather and the strong winds, isn't this just too dangerous?
I agree. If one of us gets seriously injured, we won't even be able to go to a hospital until tomorrow. The wind might not be as strong in the courtyard. I think it's at least worth it to take a look. I must say, getting up to the third floor will be quite a challenge. Back when we had to clean away the bird's nest, most of the servants shrank away from the danger. And that's when I, your humble servant, took it upon myself to accomplish the task. My god, Gohda. Right, then there's no problem. We've got a ladder tall enough, and someone who's proven he can use it. Huh? He really is a glory seeker. Also, he just made his bed, and now he has to lie in it. That's what you get, my bud. Because the courtyard was surrounded on all four sides, while the rain was fierce, the wind had almost no effect. Fortunately, the roof jutted out a bit, so even the rain wasn't so bad. Alright, let's try standing the ladder up. Be careful. Don't hurt yourself.
Sure.
Rudolph and Battler carried the special ladder, which was designed for work on high places. 2 umbrellas followed the pair. Shannon and Kanon were holding umbrellas and sheltering Rudolph and Battler from the rain. We don't care about getting wet. Go back under the eaves. Gohda-san. Your knees might be acting up, but you could at least hold the ladder down, right? Oh, he got out of that bed. Yes, yes, sir. If only I'd had enough hyaluronan? Hyaluronan? What is that? Literally, what is that? I'm gonna look that up, and when I upload this to YouTube, I will put it in the fun fact section. Assuming that's even a thing. Going up a ladder would be no problem at all. I'm truly sorry. Gohda rushed up to replace Shin-honkaku. Kiria giggled as she watched him. That hammer. Cool. Battler, do you like athletics?
Not as much as I love my cool handyman of a dad.
You little brat. Sheesh. I guess I need to show this son of mine my good side every once in a while. Battler, Gohda-san. Hold that ladder down tight. Make sure you're looking up, okay? My hand might slip and you'll have this hammer tumbling down on you. Don't worry. I'll catch it and smash your head in. Guys, people died. Rudolph put the hammer meant for breaking the window into his pocket. Then, after cracking his knuckles, he started climbing the ladder.
Will Rudolph-sama be alright?
He'll be fine.
That guy could be in an action movie. Plus, sports are one of his strong points. Man, everyone... Oh my god. Oh my god. That was amazing. I was just about to say that everyone in this family is really athletic. And then that. Beautiful. Wow. What a gift. I wish you'd tell me how my skating prowess is supposed to help me climb ladders. I refuse to sing this, but that's another one for the fun facts. Shit, I already used this as a fun fact. I'm in a bower, always in danger, or whatever. In a bower? Oh, they make skates? I did not know that. What this is also a reference to is, you know, while we're not going like super hard on mystery solving just yet, because that's about to happen. Let me just quickly explain. Rudolph's voice actor in Japanese is the same voice actor who does the voice for Jack Bauer from 24, like the series, the action series. And who does the dubbing in Japan. And for the DVD ads, he sang a song in Japanese about how he's Jack Bauer and he's a tough action man, but sometimes, you know, because he's sensitive, he also cries, and it's like a whole thing. And they actually put in a reference to that in the anime, the Umineko anime. And I think there might be another reference to it, like actually in episode 1. But I might be wrong about that. I can't remember. Because he wouldn't have had his voice actor yet, so that's impossible. I might have messed that up a little bit. But yeah, basically he's referring to an actual ad that he sang a song for. And I'm trying to look this up right now. Because I refuse to sing this, even though I know the tune. I have never forgotten. I've seen this video once. I've never forgotten the tune. It's very catchy. But yeah, it's Rikiya Koyama, who the voice actor is. Yeah, it's hold on, let me just yeah, sing it for me, Kat, thank you. I can't sing either. I'll pop a link in the YouTube thingy as well, so that you don't have to, you know, go without that, because it's great. There's multiple of these. They're great. Definitely worth a look. All right, while we're at it, water break for me. Oh, there's no lyrics? No. It should be subtitled though, I checked. Oh, it is subtitled. Like, yeah, he sings about he's good with danger, but he loves his daughter, and like it's just really silly. It looks like all of them are in here. All 3 or something of them. It's great. Definitely worth a watch. And if you're familiar with the Fate Stay Night or Fate Zero series, same voice actor voices Kiritsugu, Shiro's dad. It's a joke song for sure. Yeah, so Shiro's dad, same voice actor. And then yeah, now you know. I could have learned useful things. Instead, my brain is filled with stuff like this. And hilariously, it's now actually useful. Because of streaming, yay. Yeah, I never thought that this would actually be information that I would be able to like just pull out of my head and then be like, yeah, so I know this, to other people. So I appreciate you saying it's useful. I finally feel like I've achieved something in life. Nah, I already did, but I'm not that sad, I swear. Okay. Anyway, sorry for the slight ramble there, but it was again, it was worth talking about. I don't know. I like some random trivia every now and then. Your brain is filled with useless work stuff. Mine too. Ultimately, a few things are useless in terms of like information, I think. Anything you know is going to be useful in some way or another, otherwise you wouldn't remember it. Going off script is great, yeah. My main worry is always that I go on for way too long, because once I go off, it's like a snowball going downhill. I'm not sure I'll ever land back to where I started. but I can reel it in. And as proof, back to our story. They're pretty short usually. Thank you. Good. That's good to know.
He never dies, so he'll be fine.
I'm gonna click. I'm sorry. I need to know what that means. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. They're nice enough to put the trivia in for us, which I keep forgetting about. It's another freaking Jack Bauer reference. Oh my god. She did mean Rudolph. It's just a silly meta joke. But yeah, here's Ina Bauer, champion German figure skater whose name is associated with a move in figure skating that became famous in Japan. However, the reference goes deeper than this. Rudolph's voice actor, Koyama Rikiya, was the Japanese dub voice for Jack Bauer in the TV series 24, which ran from 2001 to 2010. He Never Dies is a reference to one of a number of comedic Japanese TV commercials for 24, in which Koyama Rikiya sings, "I am Jack Bauer, always in danger. I am Jack Bauer, I never die." So now you know. I could have spared that whole dang ramble if I just hit, like, the space bar once. But at least now, you know, I have proven that I already knew that. And that's what really matters here. You preferred my version, thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, meta jokes aside.
We're really lucky that the shutters aren't down. Isn't it standard practice to lower the shutters to Father's study at night? It is. When we're permitted to enter, we open the shutters in the morning and close them at night. However, the master told us that there was no need for the time being, so I think they were left open. I see. Father will be pretty mad, won't he? If his son smashes his window and comes in while he's sleeping? Well, probably. It would be wonderful if we didn't have to smash the window, don't you think?
Both Shannon and Kanon knew that Kinzo no longer existed in this world. Natsu had ordered them to interfere as much as possible. But now that it had come to this, there was nothing that the two of them could do. They had tried to interfere by pretending that they didn't know about the ladder that could reach up to the third-floor window. But because of Gohda showing off, that ladder had been found. Rudolph carefully climbed the ladder. He would reach the third-floor window very soon. As he did this, Shannon and Kanon stared at him, looking uneasy. What would happen after this? To the two of them. To Madam. To the Master. Very soon, Rudolph would reach the window.
So, the barrier around this room is giving way at last.
The soldiers are scaling the castle walls. Truly, we stand only moments from the fall of the keep. I am prepared to be erased at any moment.
We can't let that happen.
You have to remain alive, even if it means crawling through the dirt.
I'll think about what comes next.
Escape from this place for now. That is easier said than done. Ava and the others are still in position in the hallway, and Rudolph is approaching the window. There's no way of retreat through either. In that case, perhaps you could hide under the bed. So, I am not even permitted to await the enemy's arrival seated on my throne.
You might have done that while you were still alive. However, you are now a ghost that Natsuki and I brought to life. Ghosts should do what ghosts do best and hide under the bed or in a closet.
Will something like that really fool them? So, it comes to this.
Don't worry, I'll be with you. I'll get you out at the last moment.
It'll be dangerous for you. Even though you're a demon, you won't get away unscathed if you're burned by the anti-magic toxin.
Don't worry about that. Anyway, I need things to get at least that bad before my heart starts pumping.
How reassuring. Very well. I'll hide under the bed. Milady, Rudolph will reach the window very soon.
Gap. I've changed my mind. I will guard this place. Hide yourself, along with Ronove.
What did you say? This was not the plan. We planned to leave the space to Gap and have you retreat, my lady.
Even though Ronove should have been used to her fickleness, this surprised him for the first time in a long while. Though Beato was the powerful queen, she was also an important piece that should not be exposed to danger. Though she was strong, running to the front lines without any plan would not be a praiseworthy move. What kind of whim is this? It's just a whim. I'm not so fond of boredom that I could simply sip tea while leaving everything to you. I've just gotten the urge to jump into the struggle right away. Okay. It is your game. You do what you want. I'll keep a close watch over the first Twilight corpses I erase to make sure nothing happens to them. Sorry for stealing your time to shine.
Are you certain about this, milady?
You know that I love attention more than my 3 meals a day. I've done nothing except gobble up Gap's turn on the stage. Don't pay it any mind.
Ronove and Gap were both silent. The two of them had already noticed.
Lady Burncastle, who used Fururo Erika as a piece, was a terrifying opponent. This fight would probably be terrifying as well. Beato couldn't expose Gap, her friend, to this danger. Beato bluffed and said that this wasn't the case, but Ronove and Gap had already figured it out. Therefore, after confirming Beato's resolve one last time and seeing that she was completely firm in her decision, they nodded in silence and accepted it. Okay, I'll leave this up to you. I'm rooting for you. Take care. Indeed. Feel free to stand back and watch my performance.
Lady Burncastle will probably start trying to expose Kinzo's absence with a locked room argument. Fights in a locked room are normally Gap's area of expertise. Queens rule the battlefield because they are best at fighting in wide open areas. This won't be an easy fight.
I'm fully aware of that. I currently serve Natsuhi. It would not be right for me to delegate her peril to Gap and callously watch from safety.
Understood. I wish you luck in your battle.
Be careful. If it becomes a complete locked room, we won't be able to come in and help you. I laugh at them a bit, and if things get bad, I'll just grab Kinzo and make a run for it. It'll be easy. With a door and the window, the past and the future to choose from, there are plenty of places to run to. Of course I won't let this become a locked room. Though you won't see us, we'll be cheering you on from very close by. Good luck.
gap under Ronove became a swarm of gold butterflies and disappeared. And Kinzo melted into the darkness beneath the bed. Then, Beato also became a swarm of gold butterflies and melted away inside the study. After that, all figures and signs of life had disappeared from the study, and it once more regained a silence as though no one had been there from the beginning. Then, Rudolph's outline slipped into view from beyond the window's curtain. Still kind of funny. Dad! Dad! If you're there, answer! Dad! As he yelled, he hit the window. His foothold was so uncertain that just hitting the window felt life-threatening. Yeah, he just kind of zooms out. But of course, this was Rudolph, the show-off. Deciding that he couldn't show himself up with so many people watching from below, he suppressed the fear from being so high up, and boldly knocked on the window.
Come on, grandfather. Can't he hear?
I wonder. I hope he doesn't drop the hammer.
How many seconds have passed? It's been 30 seconds since he knocked on the window. So, he's really going to smash it? The master will be very angry.
There's one person who's been kind enough to brag about how accepting that anger is her duty, so there's no need to worry. Rudolph-san, that's enough. Do it. Sure. Damn it, Dad. You better not complain after I smash it. He hit it several times, and eventually, a fist-sized hole opened up in the glass. Because of his unstable footing, this took a lot of effort. Using the end of the hammer skillfully, he brushed aside the now fractured bits of glass and opened the hole further, stuck his hand through it, and unlocked the window. Rudolph's done this before. That sounds like he has experience with this. He's like the resident bad boy, I guess. So it kind of makes sense. Then, after a hard struggle, he somehow managed to open the window, and his body slipped through into the study. After that, he flopped onto the floor, using his entire body to enjoy the relief of having a ground under him. A cat burglar in another life. Yeah, for sure. Dad, it's Rudolph. Answer me. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that Kinzo's study was a small villa he had created inside the mansion. A study, a book archive, a place to sleep, and a bathroom and a washroom. It was divided into multiple rooms. Indeed, with all this at your fingertips, it wouldn't be hard to spend your days in the study without ever leaving at all. The bed was empty. There were marks on it which made it seem as though someone had slipped out, but there was no one in sight. They do this a lot in ninja movies. The bed's still warm, they can't have gotten far. Just like that. Rudolph tried placing his hand on the bed, but he couldn't feel any heat at all. Not only was there no heat, it felt completely ice cold. And the bed wasn't the only thing that was ice cold. The air inside the room, and even the presence about it, if that's the right word for it, even that felt ice cold. To Rudolph, it felt as though Kinzo had slipped out of this room a long time ago. It's very clean. There are signs that it's been lived in. Wrinkles in the bed, the slight angle of the chair, Here and there were many marks that would doubtlessly have been cleaned or fixed up if someone had come in to make the beds. As far as I can tell off the top of my head, Dad must have slipped out of bed several hours ago at the latest. That placed it in the same general time period as the brutal series of murders. It didn't seem possible to say that Kinzo's absence was completely unrelated to the crime. Having reached the dead end for now, Rudolph leaned out of the window and told Kitty and the others in the courtyard to come back up since he was going to unlock the door. Then, he pushed the button on the study desk and released the door's auto-lock. There was a heavy clunking sound, and Natsuhi and the rest dashed in immediately. Father, good morning. Sorry, but it isn't Dad. I'm the one who opened it.
Was Kinzo-san there?
Nope. There are signs he slipped out of bed, but no way to tell when that was.
And Natsuhi-san was the last person to meet him, right? At around 11 o'clock last night. I wonder if that means he slipped out of the study sometime after that and went somewhere else. Well... But Father's a fickle man. Many times he has bolted awake in the middle of the night saying that he had a revelation in a dream, and walked around the mansion. Isn't that right, Dr. Nanjo?
Yes, that sort of thing has happened before. As you say, he's a fickle fellow. Right, Kumasawa-san.
Oh, that's true. He might have had some sort of strange dream and slipped out of bed. That happens a lot, yes.
Then where'd he slip off to? Isn't there a good chance that Father's been caught up in this crime?
You see, we should have checked to make sure Father was safe from the beginning, shouldn't we? We can't be sure he isn't in this room. Maybe the culprit tied him up and locked him in the closet or something like that. Just what I was thinking. Let's conduct a search. The head treasures the study. It will not do to have you pawing all over it. Oh, that's right. I have an announcement for our guilty party. When Natsuhi heard this said from right in front of her, her heart froze. But Erika had only just happened to be standing right in front of Natsuhi when she said it. She had directed her words to the room at large. She hadn't been speaking to Natsuhi in particular. Natsuhi turned her back on Erika, trying to make it so that her faltering expression wasn't noticed. My memory is photographic in every detail. If any attempt is made to hide evidence or alter the scene, I will know at once. Please don't commit some stupid blunder in here and disappoint me. Don't you agree that any whodunit in which the culprit is unmasked by way of some silly mistake or slip of the tongue is dreadfully third-rate? I don't understand what you're talking about, but I'll ask you to refrain from imprudent remarks. Father, are you there? Please answer me. Natsuhi started walking around and calling out in a loud voice, refusing to let Erika say any more. And there was a knock. Kitty and the others who had gone down to the courtyard had returned. No sign of Father, I assume? He might be tied up and shut away somewhere around here. We were just about to start searching for him. I'm amazed he can keep himself locked up in a place like this for so long. Give it up, Ine-san. We can't change anything now. I wonder what Madam plans to do. Get paid back for all the lies she's told up until now. Shh. Let's leave fate in God's hands. Yes.
many people traipsed around Kinzo's vast study, looking here and there. Inside the closet and in the bathtub, even in the refrigerator and under the study desk. They looked everywhere, almost as though they were it in a game of hide and seek. However, not only were they unable to spot Kinzo, they couldn't even find a single suspicious mark. Single suspicious mark. It seems clear that Father isn't here. That's enough. I ask you all not to disturb Father's precious study any further. Yes, yes. There's nothing the Master hates more than having his things moved around without his permission. Father's nowhere to be found. Maybe he really was caught up in the crime? Though we can't be sure of that. Natsuhi averted her gaze once more. It's all right, Natsuhi. We truly do have our backs against the wall. On the off chance that someone entered the study, I had planned to talk my way out of it by saying that he had probably gone for a walk somewhere. However, no one would believe that I was enjoying a casual midnight stroll in a mansion where murder has occurred and many people have been killed. Though I wouldn't put it past myself to do such a thing. Come now, Kinzo. Be a good boy and stay hidden under the bed. It's all right, Natsuhi. Remain calm. You can prove that someone exists, but you can't prove that they don't exist. In other words, the human world is one in which, regardless of whether something exists or not, you can make it exist. And the shadows in which you can make it exist from the world of us witches form the world of us witches and the world of demons and devils. You mean the devil's proof? Yes. So don't worry. The power of demons will most certainly protect you. If it could protect the honor of Father and my husband, I would gladly sacrifice this body of mine to demons. Your resolve is good. Don't be anxious. I won't allow them to kill Kinzo. At that moment, a dry sound suddenly rang out twice. Erika had clapped her hands, seeking everyone's attention. Though such an action should have been above a guest's place, for some reason, it already felt like a natural right of hers. After all, she was the detective. I think that's enough. Shinomiya Kinzo-san is nowhere to be found in this study. Yeah, we've searched every possible hiding spot. Dad's nowhere to be seen. And we haven't found anything out of place. Yes, we didn't find anything at all. Erika said it again. They hadn't been able to discover anything. In that case, we mustn't continue to loiter in this room. Do you understand how angry Father would be if he learned that so many people were looking through his study? Eva-san, you said that you were prepared to take responsibility, didn't you? I hope you're prepared to be disowned for life. That's for Father to decide, not you. Quiet down. I'd like to assemble the facts as we know them. At 11 o'clock last night, the last person to meet Kinzo-san in this room was Natsuhi-san, correct? Can anyone confirm that? Confirm? Yes, that's right. After all, the only one who claims that Natsuhi-san really did stop by here at 11 o'clock last night is Natsuhi-san herself. A confirmation from Kinzo-san that Natsuhi-san did indeed come here last night would have sufficed, but his absence is the very issue under question. Alibis are the foundation of a mystery, correct? Yes, that's right. Alibis are important. Of course, they're almost useless when it comes to the actual theory making, but it's common courtesy to be particular about this kind of thing. You didn't ask for alibis regarding last night's murders, but you'll do it for grandfather's disappearance, huh? You really are unpredictable.
Oh, don't worry. Regarding the murders of the first twilight, have no fear that I will fully examine everyone's alibi for that as well later. So, can anyone confirm that Natsuya-san visited here at 11 o'clock? If no one can, we'll be forced to doubt whether Natsuya-san really was the last person to spot him. Are you saying that I can't be trusted? No, just the opposite. I hope that you aren't the culprit. After all, that would be dreadfully dull, wouldn't you? Don't you agree? Only the worst third-rate mysteries have the most suspicious person as the culprit.
Natsuya-san is suspicious? Wait a second. What exactly is your argument? Yes, calling Madam suspicious is the height of discourtesy.
Quite.
Dr. Nanjo, Gohda, thank you. Erika-san, I presume you have some basis for the tremendous disrespect you just showed me.
I do. It's painfully simple. But you'll permit me some TV drama quality evidence, I'll be happy. If you'll permit me some TV drama quality evidence, I'll be happy to oblige.
Let's hear it. When Battler glared at her, a cold expression rose to Erika's face for an instant. But it was only for an instant. After smiling peacefully and gazing around at everyone, she started to talk. She looked just like the main character in a play, who would come out onto center stage bathed in a spotlight.
Think back to this morning. Please recall the chaos that followed the murders. We wanted to inform Kinzo-san about the crime, but he wouldn't come out no matter how many times he was called on the telephone. Remember what happened then?
Anyway, isn't it bad if we can't get in touch with him? I mean, Father might not even know there's crimes going on, right?
I'm not sure.
Keenly noticing that people were starting to doubt Kinzo's existence, Kanon mumbled his words.
Who was the last person to see Father? And when? It was me. Last night, up until moments before all of the fuss of Battler confining the cold, I was reporting the day's events to him in the study. So, around 11 o'clock last night. Hehe.
Erika chuckled significantly.
And what's your point?
Ridiculous.
I think Kirie-san probably did that intentionally. Am I right? Well, what do you mean by that? I figured someone might fall for it. Yes. Thank you, Kirie-san. Actually, I was planning to say the same thing if you hadn't done it first.
Was the question of who saw the master last really that important?
Yes. If we take the circumstances into account, then in response to the question, who saw him last, it was very odd for Natsuya-san to instantly answer me.
Why? Madam told the plain, unvarnished truth.
Quiet. Why do you think that was odd? Why are you so sure that no one else saw Kinzo-san after 11 o'clock?
Well, that's because I watched as he went to bed. It's only natural to assume that he would then sleep until morning, and not entertain any other visitors.
Considering the circumstances, whoever saw him last was going to be at risk of being suspected of having some kind of involvement with this case. A normal person in your position, Natsuya-san, wouldn't say I was the last to see him. I met with him at 11 o'clock. Right, Kirie-san?
Yes, that's right. A normal person would say, I saw him at 11 o'clock, but I don't know if I was the last person to see him. Something like that.
Good. Identifying oneself as the final witness is usually quite difficult. That is, unless you know some reason that makes you certain that there couldn't have been any other witnesses after you. In third-rate mysteries, the final witness is often the culprit. They killed the victims themselves, so they knew that no one else could have met the victim later on, is how the argument goes.
That's nothing more than a minor misuse of words. It's nothing to make such a fuss of and focus on. Yes, it's nothing more than nitpicking. Aren't you jumping the gun a little, suspecting Natsuhi-san because of a little slip of the tongue like that? And you mentioned that Madam must have a reason to be so sure that no one else could have seen the master. But of course, Madam has one. She left the room after seeing the master go to bed. Following common sense, it's perfectly natural to assume that he probably wouldn't meet anyone else until the next morning.
No, that isn't natural whatsoever. After all, Natsuhi-san, Dr. Nanjo, and Kumasawa-san all made this claim a short while ago. Please try to remember.
And Natsuhi-san was the last person to meet him, right? At around 11 o'clock last night. I wonder if that means he slipped out of the study sometime after that and went somewhere else.
Well,
but Father's a fickle man. Many times he has bolted awake in the middle of the night saying that he had a revelation in a dream and walked around the mansion. Isn't that right, Dr. Nanjo? Yes, that sort of thing has happened before. As you say, he is a fickle fellow. Right, Kumasawa-san. Oh. That's true. He might have had some sort of strange dream and slipped out of bed. That happens a lot, yes. Yeah. Grandfather often slips out of bed all of a sudden late at night. That's what you claimed.
Good. Balor-san, you have quite an impressive memory. In other words, it's well known amongst the people at the Ushiromiya head house, Natsuhi-san included, that there's a chance Kinzo-san might wake up in the middle of any given night on a whim and wander around. On top of that, they are aware that this happened quite often.
Isn't that odd? If you knew that Father often wanders around at night, there's no way you could be certain that he'd stay in his bed until morning, right? It really is like a third-grade mystery. A lot of those have this part in the last 5 minutes where the culprit asks, "When did you figure out it was me?" And the detective answers,
"It is, isn't it? That's why I feel let down." If it turns out that Natsuhi-san really is the culprit, this will be worse than a TV mystery. That's why I want to clear away the suspicions surrounding Natsuhi-san as soon as I can. I want to make sure that this mystery isn't third-rate before I do anything else.
There's no need to get anxious, Natsuhi. She's merely playing with words, a favorite trick of would-be detectives. Is it of any consequence? How can she possibly use that one statement to corner you? In the court of hell, all of the demon jurors will declare you innocent. So calm down and don't get flustered. Sure, when you say it like that, it does make Aunt Natsuhi look suspicious. But to me, it just sounds like you're picking holes in whatever she's saying for the sake of it. But it is suspicious. I think this is more than enough reason to suspect that Natsuhi-san might be hiding something. That accusation is entirely false. And you are not being fair, Eva-san. You yourself can testify that I was in fact here at 11 o'clock.
Is this true, Eva-san?
Oh, now that you mention it, perhaps it is. I'm sorry. At the time, I was losing my head because the Gohda had just been found. So I forgot all about meeting Natsuhi-san until just a second ago.
So,
Eva-san, you can confirm that Natsui-san was a witness at 11 o'clock. Unfortunately, yes. I can attest to part of Natsui-san's story, but only the part that she came out of this room. What are you implying? Let me tell you what I'm implying. No, I've wanted to say this for a long time now. I really did feel like saying this in the middle of such a tragic murder case would be improper. But the timing now is just too perfect. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Natsuhine-san? The servants gulped and held their breaths. It seemed that they hadn't been able to hide it, after all. In the middle of this heavy silence, Eva fingered her trump card, and Natsuhi pretended to be calm. Both space and time grew heavy as lead, and swallowed up everything.
How long has Kinzo-san been gone?
Erika's words, spoken almost casually, tore that atmosphere to pieces like shattering glass. Simply put, we haven't seen him once at the family conferences this year or last. That's right. We've suspected it since last year. Seeing as how my son and the others have just been killed, this may not be the time or place to pursue this. But there's a chance that this has something to do with the crime, so we will do just that. It's possible that you have a motive for hiding Father's death. We can suspect that you're embezzling Father's assets. If Father were to die, an investigation would be conducted for the distribution of the assets and your embezzlement would be exposed. That's why you've been hiding the fact that Father is already dead.
I see. That's more than enough for the white-headed.
This keeps getting more and more third rate.
How boring.
I don't know what you're talking about. You accuse me of hiding the death of the head? Slander of this nature is absolutely unforgivable. That's right. In addition to Madam, the other servants take care of the master on a daily basis and they see him all the time. Genji-san, Shannon-san, and Kanon-kun. Even Dr. Nanjo Kumasawa-san meet with him often. Perhaps because he doesn't trust me. I haven't seen him even once since last year, but... Be quiet, Gohda. My apologies.
All of the witnesses besides Natsui-san are servants she employs. You paid them to corroborate your story. Oh, this really is third rate. What a waste of time. I'm disappointed, Natsui-san. I think it's time I concluded this now.
Concluded what?
Yoshinomiya Kinzo-san.
What is it, uninvited guest?
You don't exist. You're a ghost whose death was concealed by people who didn't want to know him due to the inheritance problem. If you're a ghost, you should pass on quickly to the next world as ghosts are meant to. Oh, where are my manners? This is the first time we've met and I've yet to give you a proper greeting. Good day. Pleased to meet you. And goodbye.
Beato's pipe stopped mere millimeters from Erika's face, so close that you might just barely have been able to wedge a single sheet of paper between them. And good day from me. Yoshinomiya family alchemist, Beatrice the Golden. I shall be your opponent in this fight from here on out.
I'm glad to meet you. I am the detective of this game, Fururo Erika. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, and soon to bid you a farewell.
So, you're Lady Burncastle's next piece after Anju. I'm afraid I didn't get to fight with her to my satisfaction in the end. It pleases me that we can test wits at last. Piece of Lady Burncastle.
My master is almighty and all-powerful. A fool like you couldn't even begin to compare with her. I accept your challenge.
You really are calm. Even though a witch has appeared before you and is about to fight with magic and fantasy. If you were battler, you'd be on your knees wailing that this isn't a mystery anymore.
Well, parallel worlds like this are popular even within the mystery genre these days.
Are you familiar with that detective who reasons from an armchair in a meta-like space?
I'm not, but that sounds awesome.
Mind your anachronisms. That author doesn't make his debut until next year. You certainly are picky for a witch. You think yourself a witch's equal. Don't be so conceited, you miserable little human. Beato snapped her fingers, and something bounced around the room at terrifying speeds. It was the witch's stake. The witch's wedge which contained the power of the blue truth within it. Of course, a mere human like Erika couldn't follow its terrible speed with her eyes. Erika understood this, so she didn't attempt to look every which way stupidly trying to spot it. You slowpoke. Take this. Damn. Our girls are animation now. With a terrible sound, Lucifer's blue stake buried itself into Erika's right collarbone. It shot all the way through and out of her back. Spinning as she rebounded off the walls, Lucifer landed in front of Beato and disappeared, laughing shrilly. Erika wasn't blown back. However, a blue wedge was stuck deeply into her. So, this is that so-called blue truth. Well then, let me hear your opinion. You can't eliminate the possibility that Natsui met with Kinzo at 11 p.m. In the 6+ hours between then and the time you all barged into the study, Kinzo had every opportunity to escape. Because of this, you can't state decisively that Kinzo doesn't exist. Beato announced that with an expression worthy of her title as witch. Erika, on the other hand, was silent. Was she too shocked to speak? There was no anguish in her expression. She was just quietly listening to Beato's blue truth. No, judging by her disdainful expression, it would probably be more appropriate to say that Beato's words went in one ear and out the other. Good. Begin with the Orthodox. By the way, this thing really is stuck good. It won't come out. She tried pulling from the front and the back of the blue wedge that pierced her, but it didn't budge an inch. However, her indifferent, relaxed expression didn't budge an inch either. You can't take it out. The blue truth can only be broken by the red truth. And as you are a guest who came to this island a day ago at most, there exists no truth that you could possibly know. There's no red available to the likes of you. In other words, this is checkmate. I see. This is one of those spaces. In that case, I'll need a piece suitable for fighting a witch. I am the detective. Let it be my role to deal with the human culprit. You are a witch. There is a piece better suited to the role of dealing with witches and demons. Allow me to introduce you. Miss Delanor. I don't know how to pronounce it. Delanor. I'm gonna just roll with it. It looks like it's your turn. So question, do I call it here? Or do we show her? Because I have to go. A new piece, a new person, a new voice to come up with. Oh shit.
it is a cliffhanger. And yeah. I think to really, like, I love the character that we're gonna see soon. Yeah, I think we're gonna call it here. Because, in part, I think it's gonna make more of an impact if you can, like, see this character and then also, like, immediately have her cut to the action, you know? Also, some great music. Yeah, this is where we're gonna start next time. It's perfect. Because yes, it is getting late, sadly. And well, I mean, I'll be back next week. Most likely. I'm a little busy with work next week, so I'm gonna do my very, very best, but we'll see. I might make it a short one. And yeah, it is nearly 1 AM for me. Which used to be like normal for it used to be normal for me to be awake at this time, but you know, I have to be an adult now and do responsible things. But yeah. Let's see. I have so many facts to add to this YouTube video, by the way. Just so many. So many. There are a lot of weird references and offhand comments that I need to go Google immediately, or I'll forget. Okay. So next week, we will be meeting this mysterious new piece that Erika has control over, or access to at least, which should be very interesting. And yeah, it's gonna be a good fight. And yeah, that will keep me busy. And probably I'll fall down some you know, some trivia hunting rabbit holes, but we'll see. If you want to actually see which fun facts I end up going with, you know, I have a YouTube channel. You can go there. It's got all the Umineko stuff on there and time lapses of my art. And in the future, maybe some more stuff. We'll see. I'm still working on that, but I am working on it. So I appreciate it. Okay. Let me just bump us over to this screen. And I have saved. I am going to exit the game. So, very sudden little transition there, but you know how it'd be. Gonna turn on some music. And yeah, gonna be back on Wednesday with Delanor. Interesting name. Yeah. I guess you'll find out who that is next week. Dalai Lama. It's an interesting character. I love this one a lot. To the point where I've already been like thinking like, what kind of voice should I do? So, and I rarely think about that beforehand, so that really goes to show that, you know, that it's a very memorable character, let's just put it that way. I'm hyped. As always, I'm hyped. On Monday, I'm probably going to do another art stream, because I made some really good progress on drawing Gap last time. And once I finish that, I'll pop the time-lapse on YouTube as well. And yeah, there's going to be another character with personality. A weird one. But honestly, they're all weird. They're all crazy. Like, odd. Crazy is definitely not the right word. But yes. see you either Monday or Wednesday or in a VOD, whichever you prefer. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a good day, week, year, you know. Again, thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.